it's Chloe
and Halle,
and we are currently chilling at home.
Baby, what you think this is? Why you wanna plead the fifth? You ain't gotta tell me what it is. That's just what the message is.
The boss, Beyoncé, is
fierce.
26-year-old Chloe and 24-year-old Halle have worked together on set for 4 seasons of the sitcom Grownish.
the wackest thing in my life right now. I would have to say nothing.
And so acting kind of was put on the back burner, but it was so much fun to re-explore it.
Halle, you surprised the world with a baby.
We're just like overjoyed and just so grateful because
I have so much respect for that, by the way, to protect your peace like that.
We're turning negatives into positives through our art and our voices, and the kids are all right.
I think we know each other.
I think so too.
Chloe Bailey, once half of your favorite sister duo and hailed by many as Beyoncé's prodigy, has found herself smack in the center of controversy and stardom. From chart-topping bops to heartbreaking IG Live moments, she's redefining how we see Black women in the music industry. But is she forging her own path, or merely dancing to the industry's tune? Stick around, because we're diving headfirst into the drama, double standards, and the shocking behind-the-scenes truths that might change the way you look at Chloe x Halle's latest news forever. If you're here, you already know today's topic. Chloe Bailey, the once golden child under Beyoncé's wing, who's now blazing her own trail, and taking plenty of heat for it. But before we can unpack the controversies, let's rewind and see how Chloe Bailey got here in the first place. It all started with humble YouTube videos. Chloe and her younger sister Halle, collectively known as Chloe x Halle, began uploading covers from their living room. But these weren't your average bedroom karaoke clips. Their harmonies were advanced. Their voices? Pure, goosebump-praising talent. People took notice. Viral moment. Their cover of Beyoncé's Pretty Hurts absolutely exploded. Not only did fans across the globe fall in love with the duo's soulful interpretation, but it also caught the attention of the one and only Beyoncé. The ultimate cosign. In an unprecedented move, Queen Bey signed Chloe x Halle to her own label, Parkwood Entertainment. That's a game changer. Getting a label deal is one thing. Getting one backed by one of the most influential artists in the world is another level entirely. Once the ink on their contracts dried, Chloe x Halle hit the ground running. Touring with Beyoncé and Jay-Z, they opened for the power couples on the Run 2 tour, performing in massive stadiums, an almost unreal experience for 2 teenagers who were barely on the world's radar just a couple of years prior. Acting gigs. They nabbed roles on the TV series Grownish, showcasing that their talents went beyond music. Chloe x Halle quickly became household names among younger audiences. Debut album success. Their first album, The Kids Are Alright, earned critical acclaim. Rolling Stone, Billboard, and other big-name publications were singing their praises. The sisters were known for their tight harmonies, ethereal aesthetics, and overall synergy. Fans loved the contrast. Chloe was the bold, more outspoken sister with that powerful stage presence. Halle projected a serene, almost angelic vibe, a softness that balanced Chloe's fire. For a while, it felt like they'd achieved the perfect blend, each sister enhancing the other's strengths. But as we'd soon learn, success often brings scrutiny. And as Chloe stepped out more boldly, the world began to ask, is Chloe overshadowing Halle, or vice versa? Industry insiders pegged Chloe x Halle as the future of R&B. Their live performances demonstrated not just vocal prowess, but impeccable musicianship. They both play instruments. Chloe has been particularly hands-on with production. They carried themselves with grace, intelligence, and a sense of youthful charm that felt genuine, yet polished. But behind that polish lay a question. Were these 2 sisters allowed to fully be themselves? Or was there a guiding hand, maybe Beyoncé's or Parkwood's, shaping their every move? The tension between authenticity and mentorship would later become a major talking point when Chloe started going solo. Let's talk about Beyoncé, the queen herself. Few artists command the global respect and influence that Beyoncé does. When she co-signs someone, the industry pays attention. For many, Beyoncé's mentorship is considered the ultimate blessing. But it can also be a double-edged sword. Why? Because the moment Beyoncé appears to favor you, the rumor mill starts churning out theories. The next Beyoncé. People immediately labeled Chloe as the next Beyoncé due to her powerful voice, charismatic stage presence, and let's be real, the Parkwood connection. Shadow factor. Others argued it was impossible for Chloe to step out of Beyoncé's enormous shadow. In some ways, being compared to one of the greatest performers of all time can become an impossible standard. Interestingly, Chloe has mentioned in interviews that communication with Beyoncé often goes through management. She said she rarely speaks to Bey directly, fueling speculation that Beyoncé's mentorship might be more of a brand association than a day-to-day guidance scenario. A typical comment from Chloe about Bey's involvement goes something like, "She's really supportive, but we don't talk constantly. Everything goes through her team first." This begs the question, how much of Chloe's journey is driven by her own creativity, and how much is Parkwood orchestrating behind closed doors? The music industry is littered with examples of mentorship overshadowing the mentee's identity. We've seen it happen before with major stars. If we dig deeper into the Parkwood or Rock Nation pipeline, we see a pattern. Tierra Mari was once hailed as the next big R&B star under Jay-Z, but fizzled out. Amory had a massive hit with One Thing, and was briefly affiliated with some of the same circles, but didn't maintain that momentum. Carrie Hilson had her own controversies rumored to be linked to falling out of favor with certain industry power players. People often speculate that once an artist under the Carter umbrella either outgrows their protege role or draws too much attention, they mysteriously lose industry support. Could Chloe Bailey be another cautionary tale? Or is she truly forging a path to become an even bigger star? Now let's fast forward to that pivotal moment when the world began seeing Chloe in a brand new light, her Bus It Challenge video. If you missed it, the Bus It Challenge was a viral TikTok sensation where people switched from casual clothing to a glam look at the drop of a beat. Chloe's version. She didn't just do the challenge, she slayed it. Her transformation was electric. She was confident, sexy, and fully embracing her body. The internet went nuts. The video racked up millions of views in record time, and fans heralded her as the next big it girl. For a brief moment, it seemed like the entire internet was collectively standing Chloe Bailey. But as fast as the hype rose, the backlash arrived just as swiftly. Shortly after the Bus It frenzy, Chloe went on Instagram Live, addressing the sudden wave of criticism. People accused her of trying too hard, over-sexualizing herself, and copying Beyoncé's sex appeal. The heartbreak was evident on Chloe's face. In a teary-eyed moment, she told fans, "I'm not putting on an act. This is who I am. I'm goofy and shy when I'm not performing, but when I hit the stage, I feel free." You could sense the vulnerability. She was essentially telling the world, "Look, I'm discovering my grown woman confidence, and it's not some marketing ploy." But the internet can be unforgiving, especially toward Black women who dare to own their sexuality. Some fans stood by her, praising her openness. Others doubled down, labeling her desperate for attention. It's worth noting the double standard at play. When male artists strip down or flaunt their bodies, it's celebrated or shrugged off. But when Chloe does it, it sparks a moral panic. Sexual liberation versus over-sexualization. Society often struggles to recognize that a woman can be both talented and sexy without it being too much. Respectability politics. Many critics argued that Chloe was losing class, a viewpoint rooted in respectability politics that especially targets Black women. Industry's role. Was Chloe's new image purely her decision, or was Parkwood pushing her to be more edgy to go viral? The real answer might be somewhere in the middle, but the conversation rages on. While Chloe was busy going viral on social media, Halle Bailey was overseas filming Disney's live-action The Little Mermaid. Halle's public image was drastically different. She was lauded for her sweet demeanor and pure aesthetic, garnering a wave of positivity for landing such an iconic Disney role. So, fans began to speculate, are Chloe x Halle splitting up? After years of sharing an Instagram account and being practically inseparable, the sisters suddenly had separate social media accounts, separate projects, and distinct images. Rumors soared about a hidden falling out. Some fans believe this separation is purely strategic. Chloe, marketed as the sexy, confident pop/R&B star. Halle, portrayed as the angelic, Disney-approved sweetheart. It's convenient for a label, or any management team, to have each sister occupy a different niche, maximizing their marketability to broader audiences. But both sisters have repeatedly said in interviews that they're still extremely close. Chloe once shared, "Halle and I FaceTime every day. We're working on separate things right now, but our bond is forever." They also indicated plans to reunite for another Chloe x Halle album once their individual commitments ease up. Nonetheless, the narrative persisted. Fans compared the two relentlessly. Halle was deemed more wholesome. Chloe was painted as the wild sister, overshadowing the duo's initial united brand. This dynamic underscores a deeper conversation about how the music industry and mainstream media often classify Black female artists. There's typically room for only one archetype at a time. Either you're the sweet, palatable star or the edgy, sexual one. Rarely is an artist allowed the full spectrum of complexity without backlash. Chloe Bailey's story can't be separated from a broader societal issue, the historical policing of Black women's bodies. For decades, Women of color have faced more scrutiny for expressions of sexuality or confidence that, in some cases, are celebrated when presented by non-black artists. Example: Miley Cyrus went through a twerking phase and was deemed rebellious or artistic. But when Megan Thee Stallion or Chloe Bailey twerk, critics call them too raunchy or inappropriate. This discrepancy reveals an uncomfortable truth. Mainstream media often imposes narrower limits on black women, punishing them for stepping outside a prescribed box. Chloe's transformation from wholesome teen singer to confident young woman ignited these tensions. The criticisms Chloe faces often reference class, modesty, or that she's going too far. These are classic pillars of respectability politics, where women, especially black women, are expected to behave in a way that doesn't offend conservative standards. But why should a young woman with immense talent be forced to dim her sensuality or stage presence to make others comfortable? Chloe addressed this herself, saying in an IG Live session, "I've always been comfortable in my skin, and I'm learning not to be ashamed of that. Nobody should." An ongoing debate in fan forums is whether Chloe Bailey's sexy image is authentic self-expression. She's 20-something, exploring her style, sexuality, and performance persona. Label-engineered strategy. Parkwood may be encouraging her to amp up the sex appeal to attract a larger mainstream audience and replicate the Beyoncé blueprint. In reality, it could be a blend of both. Chloe is openly involved in producing her music, deciding her visuals, and choreographing performances. However, the final say in many promotional campaigns typically lies with the label's marketing team. In September 2021, Chloe dropped her debut solo single, Have Mercy. The track was a sultry, bass-heavy R&B bop showcasing her vocal agility and confidence. The music video featured sorority-themed visuals, heavy dance sequences, and even cheeky cameo references, like a statue cameo rumored to symbolize her rejecting male gaze. Fans who'd loved her from the Chloe x Halle era were excited to see her stepping into a more mature lane. The track charted on the Billboard Hot 100, peaking around number 28, and its video gained tens of millions of views on YouTube. Yet, the critics pounced again, labeling the video as Beyoncé light due to the choreo and glam. Others said it felt forced, like Chloe was imitating her mentor's iconic Crazy in Love era, but without the same authenticity. Despite debuting in the top 40, Have Mercy didn't dominate radio in the way some predicted, especially given Chloe's association with Beyoncé. Fans asked, where was the full-court press? Where were the big award show performances, or the radio interviews that typically follow a major single push? Some speculated that Parkwood was testing the waters to see how Chloe's brand would resonate in the mainstream. Others think the label might have dropped the ball, failing to invest in an aggressive promotional campaign. In either scenario, Chloe was left navigating public backlash largely on her own. Fast forward to March 2023, Chloe released her debut solo album, In Pieces. Critics praised the album's mixture of R&B ballads and pop-leaning tracks, highlighting Chloe's vocal growth and production skills. She co-produced a number of tracks. But commercially, it didn't meet the lofty expectations of a Beyoncé protégé. The sales were modest, and the overall industry buzz was surprisingly muted. Fans and observers questioned, was the rollout poorly planned? Did she receive enough label support? Is the industry punishing her for being too much too soon? This tepid response seemed incongruent with her talent. After all, we're talking about an artist who can sing, dance, play multiple instruments, and produce. Some argued that the overshadowing factor, being under Beyoncé's brand, had set an impossible bar. While Chloe was hustling to promote her solo work, Halle Bailey was busy starring as Ariel in Disney's The Little Mermaid. The role came with enormous media attention, mostly positive. People praised Halle for her grace, stunning voice, and the representation she brought as a black Disney princess. Inevitably, comparisons between the sisters only intensified. Chloe, fighting for recognition in an often unforgiving music industry. Halle, enjoying mainstream acceptance via a beloved Disney franchise. The press attempted to spin this as a sibling rivalry, suggesting Chloe might resent Halle's smoother path. But if their public statements are any indication, the sisters are still supportive. Chloe has repeatedly congratulated Halle, even posting about how proud she is of her younger sister's achievements. A wave of scandal updates hit social media feeds. Were Chloe and Halle drifting apart because Halle had a Disney image to protect while Chloe was twerking on IG? Was Parkwood behind the scenes orchestrating their separate personal brands to maximize both classical Disney fans and edgy R&B fans? The truth likely sits somewhere in between. Both sisters have distinct personalities and career aspirations. They're also in their early 20s, prime time to experiment and explore. For fans used to the unified duo, the separation felt abrupt, but it's not necessarily doom and gloom. In multiple interviews, Chloe and Halle have teased a Chloe x Halle comeback album once Halle's film obligations calm down and Chloe's solo run hits a stable point. They've insisted they're still best friends, sisters at heart, and deeply connected creatively. Whether the label recognizes it or not, the synergy that made them famous hasn't disappeared. It's just on pause. One of the biggest questions swirling around Chloe Bailey is this really her? Her shift from sweet teen star to provocative R&B siren was so dramatic that skeptics suspect heavy label influence. Chloe's perspective. She's openly stated she's been producing music since she was a teen and is naturally drawn to sensual, confident performance styles. She told Billboard once, "I've always loved dancing and performing. It's where I feel the most alive." Cynical view. Some insiders claim Parkwood recognized the enormous success of artists like Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion and wanted Chloe to tap into that sexier lane for mainstream traction. Either way, if you're a young artist in a major label system, authenticity is often negotiated. You may want full control, but the label invests in you expecting certain returns. If they believe a risque image sells, they'll gently or forcefully nudge you in that direction. From the choreography style in her music videos to the way she hits high notes with emotional vibrato, Chloe's artistry draws parallels to Beyoncé. The question is this simply the fruit of idolizing Queen Bey since childhood, or is she being groomed to fill that lane in the next generation? Pros. Beyoncé's success is a proven formula, and following that blueprint can yield massive fan engagement. Parkwood's guidance ensures she learns from one of the best in the business. Cons. Constant comparisons to Beyoncé can overshadow Chloe's unique identity. If she doesn't match the success of her mentor, some might deem her a failure or label her attempts as derivative. Media outlets and gossip blogs thrive on sensational headlines. The "Is Chloe trying to be Beyoncé?" angle is juicy. It generates clicks, tweets, and heated discussions on social platforms like Twitter and TikTok. This kind of coverage can simultaneously boost Chloe's visibility and box her into a narrative she might not fully control. Let's pause the drama for a second and highlight some lesser-known gems about Chloe Bailey and Chloe x Halle that even hardcore fans might have missed. Production prowess. Chloe co-produced multiple tracks on Ungodly Hour and also flexed her production chops on her solo work. She started learning music software at a young age, testament to her behind-the-scenes skill set. Songwriting credits. Chloe x Halle contributed original music to Grownish, capturing the vibe of the show's college setting. Chloe, in particular, wrote the hooks for some episodes. Subtle Easter eggs. In the Have Mercy music video, watch for nods to Greek life and a cameo of columns reminiscent of certain iconic Beyoncé visuals, like Check on It or Crazy in Love sets. Family bond. While fans speculate about tension, Chloe and Halle have a long-standing tradition of writing each other letters and texts filled with affirmations before major events, like album releases or film premieres. Halle's part in Chloe's confidence. During an interview, Halle mentioned that Chloe sometimes doubts her bold moves, and Halle encourages her to keep shining. So Halle's more than just the little sister. She's a source of moral support. Grammy nods. Ungodly Hour garnered multiple Grammy nominations, reinforcing the notion that the sisters are not just hype, they're critically acclaimed talents. Solo touring ambitions. Chloe has teased the idea of a solo tour to promote in pieces, though no formal announcement has been made. She's hinted it would feature intense choreography, live instrumentation, and personal storytelling between songs. Disney crossovers. Some rumor forums speculate that if Chloe x Halle reconvene for an album, we might see a cross-promotion with Disney, possibly featuring a cameo from Halle in a Chloe music video tied to the Little Mermaid hype. As we speak, the entertainment world is grappling with a racial reckoning and a push for diversity, equity, and inclusion. Chloe Bailey's situation is emblematic of the challenges young Black women face when they dare to fully own their artistry and sexuality. The uproar over Chloe's confidence is far from trivial. It reflects deeper societal biases that can hold back talented individuals. With Halle Bailey's star rising due to The Little Mermaid and Chloe forging her solo identity, now is a critical juncture. How the public and the label respond could determine if Chloe ascends to long-term stardom or gets pigeonholed in ephemeral controversies. Grammy moments. If Chloe pulls off a show-stopping Grammy performance or a major awards show appearance, the narrative might shift in her favor. Collaborations. Strategic collabs with big artists, think Drake, The Weeknd, or even a Megan Thee Stallion cameo, could catapult her further into mainstream consciousness, if done right. Chloe's journey isn't just gossip fodder. It's a case study for how the music industry shapes, elevates, and sometimes discards Black female talent. Will Parkwood and the rest of the biz protect Chloe from the harshest blows and help her navigate the pitfalls that ended other budding careers? Or will history repeat itself? Potential pitfalls. Overexposure. Going viral for every little moment can lead to public fatigue. If each new post or performance invites controversy, people might eventually tune out. Unfair comparisons. The relentless stacking of Chloe against Beyoncé may erode Chloe's own identity, making it harder for her to stand apart. Label politics. If Parkwood doesn't adequately fund tours, radio play, or marketing, Chloe might not hit the benchmarks the industry expects, leading to lowered support. Pathways to success. Authentic branding. If Chloe continues to speak openly about her experiences, produce her own tracks, and maintain creative control, she can cultivate a loyal fan base that appreciates her genuine artistry. Controlled rollouts. A more structured promotional campaign for future singles or albums, complete with major press interviews, curated social campaigns, and brand partnerships, would bolster her commercial impact. Sister reunion. A Chloe x Halle reunion album might also rejuvenate fan interest. The synergy of their voices is unique, and it could remind the world why they soared in the first place. Chloe's album, In Pieces, may not have broken streaming records, but it's an important stepping stone. If she keeps releasing quality music, refining her live show, and pushing creative boundaries, she could eventually transcend the controversies. Many great artists have slow starts or face initial backlash, only to become icons once they find their groove. So, you've made it this far. Congrats, you're officially as deep in the Chloe Bailey rabbit hole as we are. We've covered everything from her YouTube origins, her electrifying transformations, the alleged tension with Halle, and the big question. Is Chloe truly forging her own path, or is she caught in the whirlwind of industry expectations? Now we want to hear from you. Comment below with your takes. Is Chloe Bailey genuinely expressing herself, or has the label orchestrated her entire image? Should she lean further into the sexy pop diva persona, or dial it back to her roots? Do you see a Chloe x Halle reunion happening soon? And will it break the internet if they come back together? If you love these deep dives into celebrity truth, music industry politics, and unfiltered drama, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. At the end of the day, Chloe Bailey is still early in her solo journey. She's experimenting, learning, and yes, making some mistakes under the brightest spotlight imaginable. The question isn't whether she's talented enough, she clearly is. It's whether the music industry, media, and fans will allow her the space to explore, evolve, and define herself on her own terms. We, as fans and observers, have a front-row seat to the unfolding of a potentially legendary career, or a cautionary tale. Let's hope it's the former. Because if Chloe Bailey continues to harness her gifts and stands firm against the naysayers, she might just become a defining voice of this generation. So, smash that like button, share this video with your fellow music junkies, and keep the conversation flowing in the comments. Because in this era of social media frenzy, the only way to cut through the noise is to keep it real. And that's exactly what we do here.